Retro anime. How did we find it? How does it hold up? Unpacking the ins and outs of being an old school nerd and proving that 80s kids can't remember a damn thing right. These are the mindless midlife musings of the anime nerd.
Welcome to Mindless Midlife Musings of the Anime Nerd. I am Rick, and I'm joined by the rest of our panel, Vic, Brian, and Lynette. How are we doing today, everyone?
Hello.
Greetings, everyone.
All right, and this...
You see what I did there?
Yeah.
Outstanding.
So in this episode, we prepare for the invasion and face off against an alien horned princess, some horny lizards, and some even hornier furries. Today, we're talking Outlanders. Outlanders is an OVA based on the manga series written and illustrated by George Manabe. The OVA was produced by Tatsunoko Productions and released in Japan in December of 1986. It was directed by Katsuhisa Yamada and written by Keiji Terada and Sukahiro Tomita. Now, the OVA received 2 English dubs, one in 1993 by US Renditions, and another in 2006 by Central Park Media. This particular copy that I have is the Central Park Media version. So I haven't seen the 1993 US renditions since 1993. So I can't comment on it. I'll have to try and find it somewhere.
Yeah, all the US rendition stuff is all VHS, so
hey, kind of tricky to pin down. But unfortunately, that's what happened. Central Park Media's release was on DVD. So that's a little easier to get a hold of. Yeah, US rendition stuff is all ether at this point. Anyway, so the story follows an alien, Cam, the crown princess of the interstellar whatever. The name was very Vascuraze? Anyway.
Yeah, it was a hard one to say.
Time out. We give wonderful disclaimers that we are going to butcher Japanese name, but the alien names, you really should put much better effort into it, because
you're absolutely right. Yeah, no, it's let me see if I can get this right. Evascuraze. There you go. Yeah, that has to be it. Anyway, these motherfuckers, they invade Earth.
Not these motherfuckers. Not these motherfuckers.
One. There's only one there.
One motherfucker.
One motherfucker shows up. She invades Earth, eviscerates the military, and falls in love with a human news photographer.
And the entire sequence is set to really happy-go-lucky music.
Tetsuya. Yeah, it opens strong. It opens out of the gate, letting you know what kind of anime it's gonna be.
Yo, my first note of many. My first note of many is that she was so fucking giddy in that cockpit by herself when she's about to land. Yippee!
Yeah, the holy planet. Our Earth is the holy planet to those folk, apparently. So yeah, lands. What?
The holy planet. There's no story.
Nope.
You
don't get.
It's a holy planet that is full of monkeys.
Holy planet full of monkeys.
It was at that point that I put in my notes, I think they're testing me. Talking about you guys. I was like, I think this is a test. I feel like it's a test. I really should pay attention, because I think this anime is a test.
Oh, man. So yeah, this thing comes out of the gate just very unapologetic about what kind of anime it's going to be.
It wasn't even that kind of anime.
No, she's hacking and slashing the shit out of people. Some beautiful destruction early on.
The escalation is mind-boggling.
Go on, explain.
Like, it is like, you normally see somebody, Holy Planet, oh my gosh, we're here to save. No. The people on the Holy Planet, they clearly must die. And we're actually just here for the planet. This is it. And my gosh, I was watching it, and when she lands, and next thing you know, you just see blood and limbs falling. I'm like, what the fuck?
Look, guy waving his stubby arm
His
before
stubby
he
arm.
died.
He's like,
That's the best.
Like he was trying to do
Look
the
at the
chicken
chicken
dance
wing.
without. Yes. And then he dies.
He was trying to wave down help. I was like, hey, oh shit.
I was like, whoa. Like, you don't see this level of carnage in like. And I don't even think they're trying to be comedic about it, but
Right.
then they're letting you know that this is some wild shit that's about to happen.
Yeah.
And the
And
closer
again, set to happy music.
to set to happen, it felt like I was watching the episode of Invincible.
That episode?
Yeah, the first one, where he goes and kills everybody, and you're just left with your jaw drop. Like, I mean, if you've never seen Invincible or you never read the miniseries or the comic book, you're not prepared for anything that happens. And like, I was not. We had just came off of Studio Ghibli, and we were.
We went from one extreme to the other.
We like to shift gears here.
We really have to work on that.
No, I don't think we do. I think the shock
I think
value
it's
is
epic
worth
this
it.
way.
Yeah, if
You get the
you don't
happy,
mix
you
it
gotta
up.
take the gritty stuff afterwards.
So that's the funny thing about this is not even this anime it's not any one thing, right? It's not some like horribly violent ultra thing. It's not some horribly overly sexualized thing. It's not some like super mega sci-fi. It's not any one thing, but it's the sum of a bunch of small parts.
All thrown into a blender.
Yeah.
I felt like it was the same way when we were dealing with Project Aka.
Right. Yeah. There's some
Or even
strong-
what came to mind for me was like Plastic Little. It's like a much larger story condensed into that little bit of time.
Right. There's a lot of that kind of action going on. I mean, tone wise, I definitely felt more Echo because like Plastic Little tries to take itself seriously, trying to take its where it's like this is just having fun. This is is grabbing some beers with some friends and playing video games on the weekend. Like this is that kind of or sitting down for an RPG. Like it's just it feels like the writer's room was a bunch of friends that got together and just like shot the shit.
Drugs were involved. Let's
Oh,
go ahead.
absolutely. Yeah, no, 100%.
Drugs.
Those toad frog things. Definitely
oh my God,
drugs were involved.
Lizard people, man.
Those things
I don't know, what were
creeped
they?
me out. I have no idea, but they creeped me out. Every time I saw them, I was like, they gotta die. We gotta burn down this ship. I don't know what's happening, but they
They
just
did
gotta
nothing
go.
wrong.
No, the way
Hey,
their mouth.
leave them alone. Leave them alone.
I'm sorry. The way their mouth moves was such an issue for me.
Or that really weird grin when they knew something was about to happen.
Yes.
Let them have a
They
time
had
alone.
All right.
they had that look like you were gonna wind up dinner. They weren't trying to take care of you because they take care of you. They were trying to take care of you to tenderize the meat so that when they actually cook you, you're not afraid. Because everybody says if the meat is afraid, it doesn't
Right.
taste as good.
Doesn't
So
taste as
that's
good.
what they're doing.
Is that what we've resorted to? We have resorted to
Yes, you have to
Preparing the
keep.
food.
What happens, man?
And no one gets eaten in this show.
No, they don't.
At
Which
least
is
not as
surprising.
food.
That scared me. So I don't know if this is by design by the wonderful creators of Greek Grotto, if they did this on purpose, but I felt like I was able to identify so many different anime styles or anime tropes or anime just things that not just the tropes in general,
Right.
just like things that we've clearly have discussed.
Right.
We have
right.
opened your
Sure.
mind.
Right. Like for instance,
Yeah, please go ahead.
Calm, I swear to God, she looks like a cross between Conan the Barbarian and Sika.
So
She had
yeah,
that little
the
pointed up
nose
nose.
kind of like that anime
Right?
style.
Yeah, the late 80s anime nose.
Yep.
And correct me if I'm wrong. What was the antagonist name in Akira?
Tetsuo?
Tetsuo.
Yeah.
And we have Tetsuya.
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 Tetsuya is the
I'm like, you gotta really come on.
Hey, you know what? Look, all I can say about Tetsuya is apparently that guy can save the planet with a boner, and good for
Is
him.
exactly what he did.
Is that the way? Is that the way it works? Have we tried that with
Apparently,
Ukraine?
that's all it takes.
Have you tried that with Ukraine? Is somebody over with the boner?
I don't think that works. Boners aren't allowed in Russia, apparently.
It was. I guess if anything, that was when you knew the gears were about to shift on this anime.
Mm-hmm.
All the slicing and dicing and the happy-go-lucky music is whatnot. But when she like hits his camera with a sword and he's like fight or flight, I'm gonna fight. Fuck it, I'm tackling this bitch. And then he gets erect, and you're like, oh, okay.
It just
All
became
right,
that kind of anime.
This is what we're doing. Got it.
I put man versus boobies.
Yeah,
The
exactly.
struggle is real.
And he lost. He lost.
He
that
lost.
one. He lost very much.
But
so.
did he? Did he?
So then, what we got to talk about is the. I love one of the things that's fun about this anime is that they don't explain anything. Like they just
Nothing.
you don't get any explanation. So a saliva-based translation is apparently a thing. It's just one kiss. We understand each other completely. Perfect.
Well, I'm drawing a blank. That's been a thing in like a couple of anime.
It's some, but you don't get an explanation. It's like you
No.
kiss, now we can understand each other. Cool. How's that work? Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter because we're moving on. We just needed a MacGuffin. They move on, and then we get to Lynette's favorite people, the little lizard fuckers.
That every time I saw them, I was like, we have to burn the ship. That's just.
You're like looking at Com like, you have an infestation. Do you know this?
Be like that, and it's like I want an army of them servicing my place around here. You know, cleaning the house, cooking dinner. Oh, maybe not cooking, but everything else.
So it's interesting is that I do know this much. They sound different depending on how you watched it. So like if you watch it in Japanese, they have a particular tone. And if you watch it in one of the English dubs, you've got this like pseudo-British house servant thing going on. And then if you watch it in the other dub, and it's like a South Park character, like, it's kind of creepy. And you're like, oh, okay. So it's just like, it doesn't matter. Every way is a different experience.
Mm-hmm.
and all of them are horny. So you can't really.
Even the little kids.
Especially the little kids. Leave them alone.
But the thing about it is, because they don't explain anything in there, we don't know how old those kids are. They could be little Grogu's.
Yeah, it could be 50-year-old, little dudes. It's so. Anyway, so then of course you get into the explanation that she's there to save the Holy Planet, not the people on it, but then also the people on it because the people are in the station. But by marrying him, and they'll spare the planet. She was doing a great job sparing the planet when she was slashing through soldiers with her sword.
She's a war criminal. Let's just let that sit in. There was no explanation. There was nothing. They fired upon her. There was no white flag being flown on the ship or nothing. She did not choose diplomacy in any moment in time.
No, it literally started with her fists clenched. It's like we're going in hot, people.
Went in choosing violence until she was tackled and poked.
She found her first boner. She's like, "This is the one. This is the one that will save the planet."
The first one, not the first one. I mean, she had clearly been decapitating people, but that's the one that saved it.
That's it.
Sure.
Because reasons.
But can we, before you continue, sir?
Yeah, well, go ahead.
Can we talk about about the scene where we find out what the plot is, that she's trying to save Earth?
Mm-hmm.
She's taking a bath.
Yeah. Your first foray into the gratuitous nudity of the film.
Right. And we have seen many uses. We have seen tentacle porn throughout the entire time. And we have
way too much.
So many ways for tentacles to be used. They so many different shapes. Yeah. This was the first time, and it's not that so much that it was tentacle. It was a snake.
It was like an eel,
It's like a loofah.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was a loofah. There was a snake loofah. It was an anaconda-like loofah. It was
like a little tiny sea dragon.
It was impressive. Yeah.
It was at that moment I was worried about the hygiene of the interstellar.
I honestly, I don't know, but it is.
They're great for exfoliation.
There you go.
The space snakes are great for exfoliation.
Are we really going to? Okay, so nobody. Okay, so you got to just go and jump board.
Go ahead.
Anime logic.
I'd be more afraid of the fact that she just kind of grabbed it, whipped it, and started exfoliating her back. I would be more afraid as I'd be like, you want me to become partners with this person? This person
What does the rest of love look like?
Well, yeah. So the questions that come up with something like that is, did the snake just live in the water and she elected to use it to exfoliate, or is its intended purpose
is its whole reason for being there that?
Right. Is that his or did she just happen upon it in this pond and go, you know what, this will work, snatch?
Is she like? Is it like one of those little fishies that eat the dead skin on your feet? Right. So everybody's like, I'm gonna go get a pedicure, and then she just puts her foot in the water with all the little dead fish. This one is, I'm gonna go take a bath. Anaconda, puts a whole new meaning to come play with my anaconda.
Yeah.
There you go.
So I just got to ask a question. Has anybody here ever done the feet fishies thing?
No, never done the feet fishies thing. I'm that's just not for me.
I've always wanted to.
How'd it go for you, Brian?
What time out? What made me that I did it?
I just feel like you were, because you were leading into it. It's sort of like that when you're in a conversation with people, it's like, hey, who hasn't done this, right? 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 Oh, no.
Somebody's done it, right?
Everybody's done right? Right? Yeah. No, that's what it felt like coming in, like you're coming in from that angle. So how was it?
Well, it was phenomenal, and I felt like I really need this. This was a glass house moment for me because I had not thought about the fishy thing until you made the assertion that this is kind of like the fish thing. I was like, well, I'm guilty of that. Can I really have a problem with her using the big ass snake as a loofah when I've had my fish? And I felt it was a glass house moment, and I don't know if I want to play.
You're giving her crap about it, and you've had fish suck your toes.
You're not sure how you're feeling about it.
They did suck. They did suck. It was they ate. All right, look.
It's not the dead flesh from your foot.
And I mean, you do you. Good on you.
Whatever makes you happy, my friend.
That worked for you, and I'm glad that it was an enjoyable experience.
Ladies and gentlemen, know that we are honest with our critiques, and if we are guilty of the said things, we are willing to debase ourselves. It's called honest journalism.
There you go. That's it. That's it. Rare these days, truly. So this the little green lizard people, who they're never given like a name, you don't know what you did. Just the little lizard people, species wise. But Brian, you had a comment.
I'm sorry. I remember that how my whole statement about these characters are bringing out other things that we have discussed already.
Absolutely, lots of tropes, right? Lots of recurring things. Yeah.
Recurring things, right?
Yeah.
This was actually answered a question that I think we never really posed, but how would we have felt if Yakumo had actually opened his eyes?
I mean, he did.
No, because all right, so Yakumo's eyes had the half moon crescent thing.
Yes,
right.
Yep. And these characters had the similar sort of
but they actually opened them. I was like,
Yeah.
I'm glad that Yakumo didn't open his eyes.
Yeah, only a handful of times would he open them, and it was intensity. Yeah, but this was I feel like this is an argument against the eye opening thing.
Exactly, it is.
Yeah.
I was like, why didn't he open his eyes? Because his eyes could have opened like that,
It
and
would
then
look
we,
like this.
yeah,
It would have made it would just fundamentally worse. Now
Yeah.
the wife character,
Momo,
her name?
Momo.
Oh, fantastic! Momo was spouting some facts, man. Momo was explaining to Calm about being a wife, and she's just, I'm like, damn, like she's not wrong. That's disturbing.
She goes, it's all a lie. You just feed them, you clean them.
I'm like, what? But why are you spouting facts? You need to stop. It's not okay.
That's a clip we need to include in the short. We're gonna timestamp that one.
That's it. And it's at that point that it's this sort of like muddled situation. Like this, she gets interrupted by her best friend, Batya. And everybody's like, she's so happy to see Badia. Badia's just shown up, and then Badia finds out that she's engaged herself to Tetsuya, who in the English dub, very problematic language, he calls him a banana-eating retard. It's not a great line. Doesn't hold up, unfortunately.
The 90s were a different time.
But that's the 2006 dub, so should have known a little bit better.
I tried.
Anyway,
You did.
you
didn't say which dub it was.
It's at this point that you find out that Calm's doing this because she was supposed to be in an arranged marriage, and she didn't want to be in an arranged marriage. So what did she do? She flew to a planet, picked a guy, and arranged a marriage for him.
So it wasn't saying the Holy Planet. It wasn't to do anything. She just didn't want to, be engaged to someone that she didn't know.
Yes.
She was going against Daddy. She was rebelling.
I felt like this was the worst plot of The Little Mermaid.
That's the dark version.
Yeah.
I want legs. So I can go slaughter the masses.
Like I didn't hear this part of your world, but sure.
So what follows is actually a pretty damn good sword fight scene. Like it's pretty well choreographed, it's pretty well animated. Like I actually enjoyed that a lot. And yay, it ended in accidental nudity. Who doesn't love some accidental nudity?
Who doesn't?
But what's really funny to me at this point, I wrote a note about it, is like then the ship starts sending out an alert. And he's like, what the hell is that? And she goes, oh, it's a proximity warning. It means something's, close by. And I'm like, but Batya's here. Like, Batya got here, and you didn't know she was here. And she just, showed up. But the proximity warning wasn't going off for her, but now it's going off? Like, what did she do? Sneak in through the back door? Like, what? How did that not? I don't understand.
The little frog things let her in.
Like, seriously. So.
Or maybe it was because she's her best friend.
Right. So yeah, they shouldn't have
the access code.
Anyway, again, just another thing doesn't need to be explained.
Yeah, no, she put Wi-Fi. She had the Wi-Fi.
Right, she had the password. So then we get to the arrival of two sets of characters. We get the arrival of Progress, probably the most ridiculously named character, and then we get Garibaldi. Two characters arrive within moments of each other because they have a lot to cram into this. And my note here is, okay, space is big, really big, holy
really
shit, big. This motherfucker accidentally crashes into another ship. I know he's drunk, but
no, he accidentally did it on purpose.
Was I the only one who noticed that the crash kind of looked like the ship was trying to mount the other ship?
That was definitely a power move.
But guess why?
Garibaldi was like a dog type animal. He was showing dominance.
Yeah, guess why? The ships are actually alive.
The ships are alive, which I thought is kind of cool. They're kind of like these ohm-looking spaceships.
Mm-hmm.
I was into that. I thought that was a pretty neat touch. But yeah, at that point, it's just So you get the furry character. Giabaldi shows up, and you find out he's got a thing going on with Batya. I'm like, okay, cool. So this dub, I'm assuming most of you watch the sub. The dubbed version has a lot of liberties taken with the scripting. A lot of liberty. They add a lot of dialogue that they're punching up the script, And there's like a horny joke, like I thought you were already horny, because of the horns. He literally explains it in the dialogue. You get it because of the horns, because you have horns, so you're horny, And I'm like, oh my god, please stop talking.
Who's saying this to who?
It's Tetsuya saying it to Kam, because he's explaining to her that she's horny, because of the horns. Like, what the fuck, dude?
So this is during the recording session, right?
Yes, this is right after Giabaldi's there and all the shit, and then they're having the little courting session.
So here's the thing that stuck out for me. Men around the world have been plagued with the whole, if they're ever caught in an unfaithful situation, right? And they act dumbfounded, like, how did they get here? And they say, what, did you fall into the pussy?
Right.
I've actually seen it work as a defense today.
Matter of fact. Oh, man. So this anime was, the creator of this anime, George, he was inspired to create this anime based on a lot of other things, right? Numerous science fiction things, Star Wars trilogy, Lensman, Flash Gordon, Super Dimension Fortress Macross. Like, a lot of these had direct influences on the decisions made and the type of story he was structured with this.
It definitely felt a lot of Flash Gordon.
Yeah, there's a lot of that. There's some, yeah. So you can catch a lot of those beats in here. Supermassive ships, like there's a lot of it going on. And apparently this anime only counts for like half of the first volume or something like that, or half of the story. So it's a classic. It's another one of those classic situations where there's more story that could have been had, but it's an OVA, so you just get what you get. And shut up.
From the late '80s, so it's like that's what you get.
Right.
Because it didn't sell gangbusters, and you don't get more.
Right. But what's interesting about this anime is that Manabe hated it. Apparently hated it. Considered the staff incompetent, thought that the sexually explicit scenes were overused, and that he hated it so much that he stopped making the manga. That it soured his taste for the story so much that he lost motivation and ended the manga early.
Let's put this into context.
Yeah.
Right. Game of Thrones, George R.R. Martin.
Mm-hmm.
You're telling me he was so sick with what they did that he stopped right after the Red Wedding and said, you know what? Screw you guys, I'm going home.
Yeah, HBO, you done fucked this up. I'm just done writing. Like that's the equivalent of what happened here. So pretty interesting, because while the anime probably does take a lot of those liberties, I get what they were doing. They were trying to make a marketable product. They threw everything into the blender, But yeah, so apparently, and the interesting part about this is overall, it's not a bad anime, but it apparently must be really bad in comparison to what he has in his source material. I've never read Outlanders. I have no idea. It was translated and released, but
it just felt like it was just too condensed. Like they just picked, a certain part of the story and just squished it down as much as possible. Here's
the reason I brought it up. He felt that the staff was incompetent. Now, the script for this movie, the idea or the writing for this movie version of his manga, one of the writers, Tsukahiro Tomita. To the layperson, doesn't mean a damn thing. Didn't mean a damn thing to me either until I hovered over the name and got a list of this person's writing credits. This motherfucker has written for Super Dimension Fortress Macross, Do You Remember Love, Love, Macross 2, Macross 7, Devil Hunter Yoko, Super Dimension Century Orgus, Aura Battler Dunbine, Genesis Climber Mospita, Kimigure Orange Road, Sailor fucking Moon, Yu Yu Hakusho, Mobile Suit Victory Gundam. This motherfucker is written for everything that is
He
good.
had his finger in like literal anime gold.
Right. So to call the staff incompetent is really saying something because this motherfucker's written gold 100 times over.
Maybe I think we can go ahead and say
I see it. He blamed it on the other guy. The other guy had his fingers in Southern Cross.
But yeah, so it's sort of interesting because again, I want to go back to I don't feel this is a bad anime. It's silly. It was a fun time.
It's just I felt like it could have been significantly more.
Like I feel like George must have been like, man, I want Star Wars, and you're giving me Spaceballs. Like he just was not like that's kind of what I think happened there, which is a shame.
Like you hand someone the entree, it's like you're only entitled to one bite. Make it count.
I think that it's highly possible that they run into each other over at the grocery store, and one person's like, "Man, there goes that idiot right there," and he looks at him like, "No, there goes that idiot." And I wonder if they're friends on like LinkedIn or something like that, you know.
Anyway, I know we derailed a little bit, but I felt like it was really worth noting because
if you look at both of the writers, it's like one is like literal anime gold, and the other one,
even
you
then,
had a hit here and there, but nothing major.
No,
then,
at least not in number wise.
One brought us the Bible, the other one brought us a pamphlet. I mean,
nevertheless, Manabe fucking hated this anime so much so that it killed his desire to complete his story. So it's sort of interesting and unfortunate because it's, as far as adaptations go, I don't know if this is a bad adaptation, but it wasn't a bad anime. And that's the thing. So,
and we're not even talking to the dubs yet. We're actually talking about what came out of Japan.
Right.
He was so infuriated by.
Oh yeah, no, if he'd have seen the dub, he'd have jumped off a building. Shit is like, it slaughters this, like they add shit, they change the meaning of shit. For example, I'll give you a great example because I wrote it down. They added lines. There's this absolutely a Star Wars nod. Progress is on his ship, he's getting ready to fire, and he literally like even throws the accent on, goes full Tarkin. He's like, "You may fire when ready." Like says it exactly like that he was absolutely going for a Tarkin moment. And then he says, "Say goodbye, Giabaldi." And then you hear a staff member on the radio go, "Goodbye, Giabaldi, sir." Like it's fucking, I'm not making this up. They add so much stupid shit to this. The ship blows up.
It was intended as a serious story, and it's like they added too much. They made it too comedic.
I feel like they pushed it too far. The ship, one of the ships blows up, and the guy on the PA system again, "Permission to die, sir." Like they do not. This is all added. None of this shit's in the sub.
Oh.
No, I really believe we need to find a way to interview like somebody from like a dub to find out how they got here, you know.
What kind of drugs were they on at that moment?
Well, it's not all right. So let's just talk about going from manga to a cartoon to just a cartoon, and then from a cartoon to a dub, right?
Something we've seen done successfully,
right? But if you read the manga, it's inevitable. You know what's going to happen in here, right? Mm-hmm. And then if you read the subtitle or watch the subtitle of anime, it's inevitable once you get to the dub version, again, you know what's about to happen, right? So the question that you got to ask yourself is, if you are on the third end of the dub, what is the brainstorming section for how you're going to add shit to this?
It is a fascinating question. I don't know. I just feel like, do they just like riff in the recording booth? Do they just let the guys improvise? I don't, because there's And then there's some things that are strategic decisions. So the last scene in this movie is, and I don't mean to jump all the way to the end, but since we're talking about the dub, this is relevant. In the last scene of the movie, they do some slide-like cutaways to Tom and Tetsuya, and then the little green alien fuckers. Right, it's the very end of the film. And in the OG, the implication is they're about to fuck. Right? She's like, "Oh, that kiss was great," and then she like tackles him. And then the aliens are like, leave them alone, leave them alone. You know, like is implying, all right, shit's about to get serious, right? The dub decides, no, they've already fucked. So then they change the dialogue and they have her say, let's do that again. And then Tetsuya's like, oh, give me 20 minutes, literally changing the meaning of the scene with the dialogue. I don't necessarily know, not only was it not relevant, but I don't think it improved anything. Like it didn't. What was the point of having them had fucked versus having them about to fuck? Like it just, there was no point, is my point. And it's that kind of shit that they do in this anime. A lot of the localizations do it in anime where they change the context of things. But in this one, they seem to just arbitrarily change shit however the fuck they wanted. So, and this is the second dub one that I watched. The first dub,
they had a chance to go back and do everything to fix it.
You had a chance, to correct mistakes, and
you said, "Nah, we didn't go far enough."
Right? We didn't push this far enough. And the dub's great. I mean, the dub is got some pedigree on it. Goku from the Dragon Ball Z series, the American actor Sean, what's his name? Schemmel. He plays Tetsuya. And this apparently the voice cast for this was voted on, and like the fans like chose who they wanted to be cast in this. Apparently, I couldn't find detailed notes on that.
All right. So not only he is, who's the writer's name?
The original writer was George Manabe, the creator of the manga. Yeah,
George is like rolling. He is not enjoying.
Yeah, no, he's not having a good time.
He can't be enjoying that. I hate this so much. What y'all got Goku?
Right. It just kind of compounds on poor George. But
do you think that when so perfect example. The guy who played Batman.
Hold up.
Which one?
Hold up.
The voice of Batman.
Oh, Kevin Conroy.
Kevin Conroy, right?
Sure.
You can't say his name without gushing over the work that he's done.
Like picturing Batman. Like you say Kevin, I immediately picture Batman. Like that's just absolutely.
We have been doing this for a while, and you do a great job of letting us know the voice actors have also done this. Do you think they have the same notoriety?
Some of them do, and it depends on the circle. So you go to a couple anime conventions, and you'll find that a lot of the voice actors get huge lines out the door to do signings and photographs, and so they do get a huge fan base. Probably most notably is what's his name, Vic Mignola, who dealt with a lot of controversy. He was hugely popular amongst anime fans, and there's some Me Too shit going down, and he lost his job. It was like this whole thing. The internet was at war with itself because that's how the internet is. I got no horse in the race either. Right, I got no horse in the race either way. I don't know details. I honestly don't care. But there was enough notoriety around the voice actors that kind of shit, you can get to that level. Like that can happen. So yeah, they do. Those kinds of names, they invoke those sorts of feelings in a lot of fans. If I say Sean Schemmel, and I don't butcher his name, there are probably fans listening to this right now that immediately are picturing Goku. Like that's just, for them, he is their Goku. It's going to be true of a lot of character actors, especially voice actors. Cam Clark is another one that I can do. But again, I'm an animation nerd, so for me, it's a little different. You say Cam Clark, I immediately picture Max Genius from Super Dimension Fortress Macross, because to me, he was the first voice of Max that I ever heard. Mm-hmm. That he's Max to me. He's also Leonardo, and he's also like a bunch of other characters. But when you say his name, I picture Max. So that's just me being an old nerd. These younger nerds there's way more information available to them. way more. They know who these people are before they even buy the damn disc. Well, before they even stream the video.
Mm-hmm.
So
enough.
yeah, the notoriety is worthy, and known, and for a lot of people that carries weight. Knowing that a voice actor you like is going to be cast in something. I don't know, man.
Personally, it shouldn't matter. What should matter is if they did a good job or not.
Agreed. But hey, look at Disney and DreamWorks and all these other studios. That their whole shtick is hiring known names, to play characters rather than hiring just talent. They're hiring names. It's like, oh, we got John Cena to do our Bull movie. Like, John Cena voice acts? Like, they didn't find the best voice. They found a name they could market. And that's, so at the very least with anime, they getting actual voice actors and elevating them to a level of celebrity status. Gone off the rails on this. Let's circle back to Outlanders. Let's circle back to wild, crazy space sex fun.
Before we go in there, can I give you a mindless musings?
Yeah, come on.
So, just want to point out, if you're looking at IMDb for Outlander, you're not going to find anything there. But guess what you will find? In 2008, there was a movie called Outlander with Jim Caviezel.
Yep,
it was. Yeah, I saw the movie. Yeah.
There's a short in 2016, but then you also have Outlander, the TV series on Star.
The Scottish TV series. Yeah.
None of these were the live action remake. I want my money back.
Right. No. Yeah. The problem was, Brian, is you forgot to add the S to the end of your search criteria. It's Outlanders.
Now, what is funny on IMDb, you will find Kevin Seymour, one of the founders of U.S. Renditions.
Oh, yeah?
Mm-hmm. Who unfortunately died in 2014.
Well, that's
going through the list of stuff that they have listed. He's had his fingers in a lot.
And he was a part of Outlanders? Yeah, it's the S. The S at the end. That's the pluralization.
Outlanders is on IMDb, staring right at it.
Yeah, that's what I said. You forgot the S. That because you took Outlander, you're gonna get all the other stuff. This anime is readily available if you sail the 7 seas, but it's not necessarily readily available to the landlubbers of the world.
Yeah, if you legit buy anime, you're buying it used.
Right, and eBay is probably your best bet. Like, there's not a lot of other options out there for you. It's what I see you pensively thinking. Sail the 7 seas.
So, like a pirate.
Yes.
Welcome to the show.
And just know, used Outlanders is not cheap.
Fair enough.
No, it's not.
Laserdisc is $274.
Okay, but you looked up the Laserdisc, Vic. Why would
That's the first thing that came up.
Why would you start? This shit was on Betamax. Why don't you look that up? It was released on VHX, Betamax, and Laserdisc in Japan. That's because it was $86.
$100 on eBay.
So for anybody who has a working Laserdisc player, you can get Outlanders.
For a DVD player, you get the 2005 version for $100.
$100 for Outlander? Outlanders? Man.
The S is important, apparently.
S is important.
And that's the 20th anniversary, which is that the English or Japanese?
It's got both on there.
I can't
anyway, I just can't even look. This anime's fun. This anime isn't $100 fun.
No.
Get in your ship, get a crew, and start sailing. Because the ship is not $100 fun at all.
If you're in Vegas, take that $100. Go someplace fun. Don't do it here.
Yeah,
there's so much more worthwhile investment.
And I mean, maybe we'll get lucky and like Discotheque will pick it up or something. But
or HBO Max, it could be one of the new Ghiblis.
That's it, right up there next to Porco Rosso. Outlanders.
Yeah, no, I need Enemy Ego to pick it up. Release it as a special edition.
Right. I mean, it could happen. It probably will. This did achieve some notoriety, enough to warrant 2 releases here in the States. Enough that Outlanders 2 was supposed to be a thing at some point. Be it, I don't know if it was book format or anime format, but the point is it did achieve some level of notoriety. So this is probably this came out in '86, and I saw it in '93 when it came out on VHS. I didn't own it. I think Diego owned it.
Quite possibly.
But it was a standard clamshell release, and this is probably the first anime I'd ever seen that was furry porn. Almost furry porn.
Well, that is, we get exposed to so much stuff.
This was definitely
like, it was the furry equivalent of Skinamax.
Right.
Not
there you go.
porn, but almost there.
There's some interesting things to be said about that. It was, but yeah.
Man, when we do mindless midlife musings of the Skinamax nerd, I cannot wait for that.
I'll start sailing for those movies. Anyway, let's see what we can do. Let's get the other channel going. Lynette, you may want to sit this one out, honey.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna sit that one out. It's okay. I don't need to see belly button rides. It's fine.
I think you're good. Let's move on.
Ladies, please love her. Nobody, just me. All right, whatever.
Oh man, so there's this anime does have an ending. I say with a question mark, but not. I wouldn't call it like a satisfying ending. It's definitely definitely an ending with a setup, but more so than say Battle Angel, which was very clearly ended well before its time.
Mm-hmm.
Or Plastic Little, which ended well before. There should have been way more to it. This ends. It tries to give you some semblance of a satisfying ending, with the possibility of getting more Outlanders. That never happened, of course, but I gave it credit for trying to close the story down. Why did Daddy decide not to chase them or not to? Doesn't matter. It's an ending. Just like everything else in this anime, nothing gets explained.
Like the cyber eye. I really wanted to find out what happened with the cyber eye. Was that like his power source?
So much that they could do with this.
Well, if you read the Wikipedia page, it'll give you the quick version of the story.
Of the story, like the whole story? No, I'm not ready for the whole story. We can link to it or something.
I was glancing at it. It's like, whoa! They had quintuplets.
Damn! Like now you've got me intrigued for a sequel.
It's what I do.
A sequel that
is par for the course for Vic. He is the one that finds the pure information for sequels. So can't be mad at him.
Yeah, no, I guess this is.
And I promise you, none of it is ever going to be as bad as Butt Attack Punisher Girl.
Got the mind.
That's right. You gotta put some respect on the last part of that name.
I couldn't even respect the first half of that name.
So I have a question. I'm pretty sure. So I watched it in English. So you guys will have to let me know with the Japanese version. When Progress died, did he say his own name?
I don't think so.
No.
Like his ship gets blown up by Giabaldi, and then it's like a cut to his face doing the Nazi melt from Raiders of the Lost Ark. And does he just scream in the Japanese version?
I think so.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. In the English version, he says his own name, Progress, and I'm like, oh wow. I was just checking. Cool.
They really did not care.
They really. I think Brian, was it you? I think drugs were involved.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure drugs were involved.
No. Drugs were involved on the first part.
Oh, in the creation,
Yes.
Okay. Well, I think like more drugs. Hit my mic. I think more drugs were involved in the dub portion, or copious amounts of alcohol. Okay, cool. I just want to verify.
Can I? It was a cheesy note, but I feel like I need to get off my chest because I don't want us to end the video and we not say this note.
No, please.
So when we were talking about the sword fight between her and Batia.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. That towel.
Some industrial strength tucking with that towel.
So my note was, they got that towel from Bed Bath & Beyond. on.
that shit wasn't a towel, it was a sham. Wow. It just held on. It did not.
That thing held on for dear life on its own.
No Germans make good
beyond
stuff.
sexual.
Shit just like held on until it didn't.
It was too tired to go on.
Yeah, I'd also like to point out, I think this is the first time I've heard of a male character going, I don't think things will fit.
Oh, that's right.
Because usually it's the girls who go, I don't think that's gonna fit. But I love how they they turn it around and he lands face first.
Well, to be fair, he thought she's an alien. Maybe she doesn't have the right parts. And he's like, oh, never mind.
He goes, I don't think that'll fit, and then he falls face first into her. And he goes, oh, it'll work. It'll be fine.
It's so
I was
great.
like,
That was one of my favorite moments.
Nature always finds a way.
Look, that's the part of the whole. I fell into it.
Right, you literally fell into it face
You
first.
Face first. I'm like, so it's possible. I just have to wait for somebody to come save the earth, and I'm the last.
And say you don't think it'll fit.
It's a whole lot of little coincidences that have to work in order for that excuse to work.
No. We have the game plan. He's shown us the way. Do you think that was the part that he got pissed off at?
I don't know, man. It's a great question.
Long time listener. He'll let us know.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, George, buddy, we're really happy to hear from you. It's been a while. Where's Outlanders 2?
I was like, is this the only anime that has destroyed a writer's desire to continue?
I mean, it's the first that I've noted. It's definitely a first for me.
I would be interested to find out if there's another one where the writer just went, you know what?
Yeah, right. It's so interesting to come back to anime now, right? To come back to watching this in '93. The internet was like something really expensive schools had in their library. It wasn't like everybody had it. So now to have the internet and be able to watch these anime and get access to all this information about the production of it and the backstory and like all of that it's amazing now to watch an anime and to find out all this stuff about it. When before, like you were lucky if you paid $25 for a single copy of Animerica from a specialty shop and got maybe 2 paragraphs about something. It is amazing in this information age to be able to experience this old anime and to share it with our audience and to find out all this stuff about it. It's something you barely remember. Like I barely remember watching this. Had you ever seen it before, guys? Lynette, I imagine that was a no for you. I didn't even. That's why I said guys, because I just knew. just knew we were, especially since he thought it was a test.
What did you think we were testing you on?
Because it went from this chick being so happy to punching and then killing everybody, and then there were like boners and then weird toad people, and then
it just went sideways.
I'm trying to understand what were the objectives of the test? Like
a benchmark for tolerance.
I really could. My mom had walked in. I watched it in my room so that I didn't scare anybody. But my mom had walked in to drop off laundry, and then she went, "What are you watching?" I was like, "I think it's a test." And she actually stopped and watched it a little bit too. And she goes, "Is this like the bubble thing again?" And I was like, "No, it's not the bubble thing. I don't know."
No, not like the bubble thing.
This is the second time you brought up the bubble thing.
So she always brings up the bubble thing now.
You've tortured that woman. Like the Ponyo is ruined.
It's weird. It's like the bubble thing.
I know, right?
You gotta answer my question. Vic, Brian, had you ever seen Outlanders back in the '90s when it came out?
Yes. I mean, I grew up with Diego too, so I'm pretty sure I've either watched it with you or with him.
Right.
No, I have not.
So for you. All right, cool. I was just curious because again, it was like thinking about circling back to this anime of one that was obscure even to me. but I remember, like, when I saw the cover, I'm like, oh fuck, I remember this anime. And then to find out all of this shit about it, it was fascinating. We truly live in an amazing time right now. So you can just find out all kinds of crazy shit.
You know, we haven't. It's been a while since we've actually asked a very important question: does it still stand up?
Well, let's answer it. Let's answer that right now. And Brian, I have a follow-up question. You can start. Does it hold up? But also, did you name a drink after this? Because it's very important to know.
Brian's like, give me 5 minutes.
But do start with, does it hold up?
Nah.
Nah.
I don't think we could get away. Look, the dub that we got in 2006, right? 2006.
2006 was the one we watched. Yeah.
You can't even do that the dub now. So
right.
So, does it hold up graphics wise? Yeah. Again, I put the Carnage in there at the same level as like easily something like Invincible. It was really clean cuts.
It was very, very well animated sequences there. The combat sequences in general, just the dismemberments and it's funny to talk about from them. But yeah, you're right, man. Animated very well. Those parts were great.
And the thing that was done in '86 when there was no CGI,
right.
There was nothing they could have used to. You could tell that their pencil sharpeners were so sharp then, and it would be very crisp lines on the drawing.
It's a difference between frame by frame animation and rigging, right? So rigging is a different kind of thing. It's where you use pieces of characters and you put them together like a puppet, versus this where you could tell the entire frame is drawn for each frame of the animation. It usually ends up in an animation that looks more fluid. And this was very successful at that. It was very cool. Is it the best I've ever seen? No. Nothing about this anime is the best.
Nothing.
This is not a classic. This is not something that's gonna be adorned on the shelves of fans everywhere. It's not.
But if anything, it sets the bar.
Sure, it's fun and it's good.
I mean,
the quality, the work is there.
For me, when I say sets the bar, mean that we're able to enjoy this for being a silly romp without any of the negative comments that we have thrown towards stuff like Burnout or
3x3 eyes.
Yeah, or any of the things that we have raked over the coals.
Right.
How poor Ponyo. I mean,
yeah, I hear you.
So when you look at it, there had to be something about this that saved it, and I really think, and it, notwithstanding, the story is not the best story, but I guess we have gotten used to, and this is the '86. So this would have been before the time of, maybe we need to work on our transition. Nah, this was the pioneer of all that. Not even a pioneer. It was a descendant of not finishing the stories. And we're talking about it like it was in the 90s. We may have saw it in the 90s. It was written and animated in the 80s. 86, the Berlin Wall was still up.
Yeah, it's
way to make us all feel old, Brian. Way to go!
But he's absolutely right. It's a testament to it because this shouldn't be fun. We should have had every reason to shit on this, but I still enjoyed it. It wasn't. I can't fault it. It's the sum of all its parts. None of those parts are exceptional, but when they all came together, I still ended up in a place where I was enjoying myself.
I think it really does feel, because it feels like that Flash Gordon. Flash Gordon, again, is not necessarily the best movie.
No, it's not.
But there's some kick-ass parts of it that, oh shit, Queen did the whole soundtrack for Flash Gordon?
Right.
That's kind of badass. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. There are parts of it that it's just, they knock those things out the park, we're not going to worry about this part because we did really good over here.
Yeah, I hear you. I absolutely agree with you.
It definitely feels it was a product of the time, and I could leave it in the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have to worry about this being remastered or redone. I could just
Right.
leave it there in the 80s with the Berlin Wall.
Fond memories of both, clearly.
Yeah. Now, as for the drink,
Okay.
I think we should call this one outlandish.
Nice.
An outlandish cocktail.
All right.
Right. So what we're going to do is we're going to take all the obscure liquors.
All right.
Like absinthe. Yeah.
Right. Never heard of that. It's so obscure.
Like all the liquors that should not be together, and we're going to put them in one drink. So we'll do like absinthe, blue caracal, rumplemint.
Oh man.
Yeah. And just because we have a dog in there for furries, we're going to put a little Mad Dog 2020 as the cocktail.
That's outlandish.
And in 15 years, after you wake up from your alcohol-induced coma,
Right.
Much like this anime, it needs to be had in small doses. You can't
So-
pound away a whole series of this. You need to just a single shot, enjoy it.
All right, so 1 part blue caracal, 1 part absinthe, and then I said one more, and 1 part rumplemint.
Right.
Top it off with Mad Dog 20.
All right.
what Brian has
There you
just
go.
created is a war crime.
There's your
Apparently, everybody's doing it. Everybody's doing it.
All right. So on that note, thank you for the drink, Brian. We are gonna head over to you, Vic, and let's hear from you. Do you feel like Outlanders is something that holds up, something you could release today? And how do you feel about it now after all these years?
So I've always enjoyed the show. I mean, does it hold up? I mean, I wouldn't be angry if someone like Enemy Ego found a master and they released it on Kickstarter as a special edition.
Come on, Robert, make it
I
happen.
really enjoy it.
Make it happen, Robert.
But like I said earlier, it felt like something bigger that was just smashed together and released as essentially a small pocket of what could have been. And it's like, is it absolute view? Is it something that you have to absolutely go out and watch? No, not even remotely. Is it something that you should? Sure, why not? It's not bad. It's just not great. So, I mean, like I said, I enjoyed it. I'd watch it again. When this showed up in the suggestions a week or so ago, I was like, yes, let's do that.
There are so many. I would say there are worse anime that have gained notoriety.
For sure.
Indie Guys too.
This anime, it's like one of those anime that when it was on, if it would have been on Sci-Fi Channel, you would have probably stopped and kept watching it.
You know where you should have found this one? On Mystery Science Theater 3000.
There needs to be an MST3K for anime, and if it doesn't exist, why haven't we done that
Right?
yet?
Oh my
Lynette,
God.
You can start a different show for that. Lynette, my dear Lynette, welcome to Outlanders. It was a test. How did you do? Let's see.
I would have to say that I think if you had a little festival that was like reminiscent anime, where you just go and you have a little party with all the people who remember when for anime, and have them all come, this should be one of the shows to bring up. I'm not sure that and I could be wrong, so feel free, anybody correct me, but I'm not sure if the new generations would be able to watch it and kind of understand that this was from a certain point in time, kind of take everything with a grain of salt, don't be so offended, just kind of let it go.
It's like, what I was going to say. It's like, yeah, I'm pretty sure parts of the internet would be greatly offended by some of the dubs.
Yes,
man.
right? So I think this could be in one of those, if somebody decided to just have like a little picnic with all the other people who watched anime way back when, this could be one that showed up. But I don't know if it would survive the newer generations,
I keep on
unfortunately.
thinking about what everybody's saying about how it was perfect for back in the time, but we were just talking about like Kite,
Sure.
right? And we were talking about the trauma that
Yeah.
that he was instilling on her, right?
Yeah.
There's no way in the world you could watch Kite now and be like, yeah, we're behind this. You know,
Mhm.
we had huge issues with that.
Mhm. Right.
I think one of the reasons why we didn't have that same issue here is that they never pushed that boundary.
Right.
Mhm.
It was the notoriety, well, not notoriety of this. The whole thing with this is this whole anime is very tongue in cheek.
Right.
It's like being offended at a Mel Brooks movie. The
Yeah.
jokes are the point. Like, you're not like people like to say you can't make Blazing Saddles now. I would argue you can absolutely make Blazing Saddles now because the jokes are the point.
Mhm.
And if you're offended, that's the point. The jokes are offensive. This isn't even that. This
No.
it's very tongue in cheek. It knows it's a little bit Star Wars, a little bit Star Trek, a little bit Macross, a little bit Lensman, a little bit Flash Gordon. It knows it's all these things, and it wears that as a badge of honor. It isn't
I would
like
say,
yeah.
yeah, it walks up to the line, right? It
Right.
says we're not gonna go to the dark places, but we're
Mhm.
gonna go up here and we're gonna make you feel a little bit uncomfortable, like with the
Mhm.
guy landing between the girl's legs and exfoliation by anaconda and
Stop judging me.
and add in a little bit of furry. That's why I said it'd be one of those you have to
Right.
kind of accept it.
Absolutely.
There are not a lot of animes, and unfortunately, you're right, Brian. There's not a lot of animes that we can pull back from those times and just
Mhm.
go, yeah, you could take that, but kind of just understand it's from that time. Yeah, there are only a small handful of ones where you can legitimately say that and not really be supporting something negative, like super negative.
Mhm.
Except for maybe that dub with the banana eating.
Dude, seriously. So I agree with you. Absolutely agree with you, Linda. This anime, it is a product of its time. To release it today, it is problematic. Unlike like Mel Brooks movies or things like that, this can be, especially the dub. You can get away with a lot of the line walking and the tongue in cheek and the fun that's there, but I don't think you could re-release the dub. The dub would have to be reworked and redone. And if they ever did do one of those box sets, Robert, when you do the box set for this, just don't include the dub. Just get a new one made. Like, just do a modern take on it. I don't think either dub holds up. Just to be clear, I haven't even seen the original one, but just based on experience, it probably doesn't hold up. So yeah, I don't know, man. I'm on the fence about it myself. Like I guess because I am a product of that time, that I can understand that better than some, and hear a line like banana eating, and just be like, damn, not going, oh my god, I gotta tweet about this, instead just being like, damn, what the fuck's wrong with you? Like, I think that's just because, again, I'm a product of that era. It's an anime that, if you're interested in 80s anime, can be fun. As long as you listen to Lynette and realize what it is. Or you listen to Brian and remember the Berlin Wall. Communism was alive and well when this anime was made.
Maverick had Maverick come out yet?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it did come out by then. So, well, I guess you know what? That's perfect stopping point. That's gonna do it for our show. So until next time, keep calm and I don't know, leave them alone. Leave them alone. You gotta do it with the lips though. Leave them alone. Leave them alone.
You've just been privy to the mindless midlife musings of the anime nerd, presented by Geek Grotto. Follow the podcast on Twitter at Geek Grotto. For show notes and corrections, or for general geeky fun, you can visit our website at geek-grotto.com. If you would like to sponsor the show, you can do so on the podcast's Red Circle host site, redcircle.com/shows/MMMAN. If you're listening to us on your favorite podcast app, please like, follow, and subscribe.